Hey guys, it's Britt Bat, and today I have my first Skullector doll. She just arrived. It's the Corpse Bride Emily doll. I ordered her on Mattel Creations at 3 a.m. through the fan club membership on August 8th. It is August 12th. She just came in the mail, and I wanted to unbox her with you guys. I took her out of her shipping box, and let's open her Skullector box together. So we have Emily here, this beautiful photography, and we have the logo here, Tim Burton's Corpse Bride, and she's looking this way. And then we have Emily in the forest, Monster High Skullector, Mattel. This side of the box, it's like the continuation of her face. On the back, this is a really cool image. So this is like, you know, the world, the real world. There's the church and the bridge where she confronted Victor. And then here's, you know, the underground, or I guess the netherworld where she lives. There's the horse. She's just standing there. It's a cool illustration. And there she is on the side. So yeah, let's see. There she is. Oh. Wow, she's so pretty. Okay, so I removed the plastic that was covering, so like, you know, if you want, you could display her that way, or you can remove it. I'm taking it off because it was really reflective. You could see me in the background. But let's look at her box here. So she comes in this really beautiful box with this illustration of the church, and I think it's absolutely gorgeous with all the moss, the wood beams, the light shining in through the stained glass. This is so pretty. I think they did a really good job. I think they did a really good job on her like base doll, her sculpting, and her makeup. I love how she still has like, she looks like Emily, but she still has that like Monster High quality. I think they did a really good job blending the two, like Tim Burton and Monster High. I like that aesthetic that they have going on. There's that ribbed piece. We'll look at her body like more in depth when I take her out. But yeah, that's her in her box. And you can see her veil. So let's get her out. I've never taken out, you know, a Skullector, so I don't know if there's like more to it. Here, let me zoom out. So this piece looks like it comes out. Don't want to mess up the box. Okay, so on the back, you can see her stand here. And here's the certificate. I'm just gonna leave that there. Here is Miss Beautiful Emily out of the box. Let's just read her. It looks like an obituary, so maybe they held a funeral for her after she, I guess, released herself. Her friends, Victor and Victoria, maybe had a little ceremony for her. So it says, "Dearly beloved and departed, we are gathered here today to celebrate the unlife of Emily, who has found her way. Although she felt not ice, nor sun, nor candle flame, Her betrayed and broken heart ached all the same, until an engagement gave her hope a spark. Despite the pesty clause, death do us part. But alas, just as a piano duet must end, so too did her betrothal. She set herself and her groom free, heart more glad than woeful. Emily walked the aisle in reverse, exuding ghostly grace, luminous, her gossamer veil flowing behind her face. At peace, she stepped into the moonlight and let go with a sigh, dissolving into 1,000 blue butterflies fluttering into the sky. It's sad but sweet. It's like a bittersweet ending. I look at it as though Emily, she found peace and went to heaven. I don't know how you guys interpret it, but that's kind of like where I see the ending. She was in like this purgatory, so to speak, and she was able to be set free from whatever was keeping her here. So let's look at this beautiful doll in more detail. Some people were discussing the quality of this doll, and you know, I've seen Skullector, she is my first Skullector, but I've seen like, you know, people complain about Monster High quality. To me, I think she could be better, but for me, she's more good than bad. I think her base doll is absolutely beautiful, and the sculpting and the makeup and like the artistry behind her face, I think is beautiful. Like I think I mentioned before, I like how she looks like a Monster High doll, like a Monster High's interpretation of Tim Burton's Corpse Bride. So she still has like the Monster High style. So that's why I think she's cool. Like, you know, because you could have, like at the time, I guess back when the movie came out years ago, you could have bought like the Emily dolls that they had, and those look like exact replicas of Emily, but this is like Monster High's take. And oh look, she matches my nails, and I just think she's beautiful. So closer look, let's look at, I guess, you know, we're gonna start from the top down. So she has this beautiful headpiece, and I think in the movie she had like the flower crown, and here she has these beautiful flower crowns, but they added like spider webs and these dripping jewels. And here we have some of those beautiful moths. Okay, so to me they're moths, but on the back they refer to them as butterflies. I always thought they were moths, so butterflies, moths, whatever. I'm probably just gonna keep saying moths because to me that looks like a moth. I don't know. And then her beautiful makeup. So she has these sad eyebrows and this beautiful makeup with like purple eyeshadow, kind of giving her like that deep set eye, kind of like that skeletal eye. And then she has the big eyes with the spidery lashes and the small pupils and the big lips. Emily's got nice lips in the movie, and her little nose. And then she's got that focus. She's got that like deteriorating, rotten like hole in her face showing her teeth. So they did a good job on the makeup. And here's Maggot, who looks so good. He's look at his whole face, his lips. He looks very, very close to the movie. And these are earrings. So it looks like he's like going through her like whole head. So that's funny. He's got like he's longer than I remember. So yes, she came with this beautiful ring. It came on her middle finger, but I moved it to her ring finger. And in the movie, from what I remember, Victor puts it on her like index finger, I think, or pointer finger, thinking, you know, it's a branch. But it turns out to be Emily's hand in marriage. So she has like this mesh cuff on her skeletal arm, and from what I'm thinking is, you know, they did that as a way to kind of like imitate like the deteriorating flesh, but in like a fashionable, pretty way and probably an inexpensive way. Oh, and going back to this ring, it did fall off when I was taking it off, and thankfully like I didn't lose it, but it is loose and it is an easy piece to lose. But it reminded me a lot of like those like beads. It's like really small, but like, you know, like a tiny bracelet bead. So if you do lose it, you could always like go to your craft store or like Amazon or something, get like the tiny beads, and if you can't find a gold one, just paint it gold and you have a replacement. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep mine, maybe keep her hand like that so it doesn't fall off. But now zooming in on her bodice here, she has a cutout to show the exposed rib cage, which is really cool detail. I'm so happy they included this detail in the doll. It would have been really sad if they, you know, cheapened out and didn't do that detail. So they did mold ribs, and they cut out like her flesh to do like 3D ribs, which is really cool. It's not just some like, you know, part of the like dress, like fabric wise. So they actually did that with plastic. Honestly though, it might even have been more expensive if they did it on the fabric, because as we can see, the dress here could have been better. It's probably the main point everyone has, is the dress. And I think maybe the way they could have solved that issue is just a different lace. They could have maybe not done like a spiderweb pattern, but they could have done just like a prettier, maybe closer knit mesh. Like this is like a little bit too open, I think, in my opinion. But yeah, that's my only comment is, you know, the raw edges, you know, there's no hemming on the dress, and the lace choice, the pattern choice of the lace. That's my only gripe. And then we have the veil. The veil, I don't mind the raw edges so much because it is a veil. You just have to be very, very careful with it, that you don't snag it. I did brush her hair out of the box, and I thought I almost snagged it, but I didn't. So, but I could see this piece getting damaged in the future. So just, that's one thing we're gonna have to be careful of. Moving down, let's look at her chunky belts. Monster High loves to do these plastic chunky belts, but I usually like them. I think it's a nice way to add detail. You know, even though it is like cheaper, I do think they look good usually most of the time. So it's like these, looks like pearls or jewels and branches intertwined with more moths, butterflies. I would love to paint these. And it goes all the way to the back. And so some of the branches, I guess from being in the box, are bent a little bit, but maybe after being out, for a little while, maybe they'll reform. Because they were kind of like stuck from the box in that position when they're supposed to be like down. But they are pretty. I know on her movie accurate dress, she had like the branches kind of coming up from the bottom. She had a beautiful train, and it was kind of like a blue gradient like a blue-gray gradient coming up to her dress, and her dress was no longer really white in the movie because she is a zombie bride and she has been in the forest, like, decaying. So her dress is kind of turned grayish, bluish, and it's kind of rotting along with her. So they gave us 3 layers here. They gave us a dark blue, this, let's look at them, this dark blue, this beautiful teal blue, and the top mesh lace layer. That it's not my favorite pattern, but still beautiful. The shape of the dress is nice. She's got the slit in the dress, and we can see her beautiful legs. Here's again that mesh like sock thing, leg warmer, that alludes to the, you know, flesh. Her beautiful shoes. So we have another moth, dripping jewels, and we have, I should take her off the stand, but we have scraps there on the bottom, that side, and then on this shoe we have this beautiful flower, more like drippy jewels, gems, whatever, and another moth butterfly on the side there, and the, sorry guys, the tree of her, like, unmarked grave, I would say. So that is her shoes. And let me put my phone back on the stand here so I can show you underneath here. So here's that stand. So it's a saddle stand, and then it came with this extra clip to hold in her legs because she's a little bit unbalanced from the different sized legs that she has. And here is her skeletal hip. So this is like the new mold, the new sculpt, and it's the skeletal hip joint, and they took some, like, a chunk of her hip away. It's decayed, I guess. And then here's a regular Monster High hip on the other side. So that's how she sits on this saddle stand. She just kind of floats, because if you look at the bottom here, she's, some of her hair fall out there. But yeah, if you look at her stand, she's kind of floating, and that's like, she's leans that way. If she's not, she should stand like that. She's leaning that way, so that's a bit annoying. A bit on the annoying side. She doesn't have anything on the bottom of her shoes. So usually, like, Monster High does put like a little detail on the bottom of the shoes, but Emily doesn't have that. And maybe that's not a Skullector thing. Maybe that's just like a regular Monster High thing. So you can let me know if that's what it is. So let's look at, what did I not show you? Let's look at the veil. So here's the veil. And like we said before, it has a raw edge. The bottom has like this interesting cut on the edge, I guess, to look, you know, like it's been dragging, it's been pulled. And it's like falling apart a little bit. Here's her hair. I did brush it, and they gave us a lot of hair. It's very thickly rooted, so it's nice. She has a lot of nice hair. If you want to curl it, you can curl it, kind of like the movie. She would probably look really pretty with like a little wave in her hair. If you do wash it, you might want to leave the cap of her headpiece on. My headpiece was put on a little crooked. don't know if you can see that, like it's a little bit too far down on this side. It should shift a little bit. But I'm probably not gonna remove the plastic ties in mine just because I've seen someone take it off and it didn't really sit nicely, but you could, I'm sure you could put like pins in there and she would be just fine. So that is Emily. I think she is so pretty. And I think I covered everything. Yeah, I think I covered everything. I'm happy to have her. I hope you guys can get your hands on Emily. Sorry, my voice. I hope you guys can get your hands on Emily if you weren't able to get her. I hope she becomes available in stores and other retailers. And, you know, I think I paid 85 something with shipping from Mattel Creations. So if you have like Amazon Prime and she becomes available on Amazon, I know she was available on Amazon, but she's sold out right now. But if she becomes available again, from what I'm hearing, like in October or September, that would probably be a smart place to get her, because she is, you know, if you have Prime, you get the shipping, the free shipping. And if she's available in store, you can just go and pick her up. So that's Emily. I'm so excited. Another thing I should discuss is, I guess, the quality versus price point. So for me, I was happy to pay, you know, the $85, you know, the plus, you know, it's including the shipping, it's including the tax, because I have been wanting an Emily doll, and I am picky with Skullectors that I do buy. I don't, but like, she's my first collector, so like there are Skullectors I wanted in the past I didn't end up getting. I wish I could have got Jack and Sally, wish I could have got the Bride and Frankenstein, the Dracula doll. I kind of want the Black Lagoon. So these are all Skullectors that like I probably should have gotten, but the price points have also the availability. Like, let's be real, like Jack and Sally, that wouldn't have been a possibility, you know, to collect. That was like impossible to get. But like, I'm talking about the ones that are easily, like, they just came out with the David doll. I skipped on that. They came out with Megan doll. I probably could have got that, but like I skipped because they weren't something I wanted. Emily I wanted. I was happy to pay the money for her. I love the base doll. Do I wish Mattel still had quality? Oh, my dog just came into the, he opens doors. Sorry about that. And my dog came in here wanting to go out, and now my husband is mowing the lawn. So you're probably gonna hear a mower in the background. But like I was saying, do I wish this dress was higher quality? Yes. Is it gonna stop me from getting Skullectors? No, because their artistry is beautiful. Their molds are beautiful. And the dolls are probably my favorite dolls on the market. Should we let Mattel keep giving us poor quality? I mean, I think we should voice our opinion. There's nothing wrong with that. But the way things are, you know, socially, politically, I don't know if it's possible right now to get better quality. Also, I don't really know like the full reason. Like, is it just they don't want to lower their profits? I don't know, because I mean, 85 is a high price point for a doll, and I feel like they could potentially give us a little bit more. But honestly, in person, like, besides on the camera, she looks absolutely beautiful in person. Like, on the camera, it's gonna show every, you know, like, detail in a different way, but in person, on my shelf, she's actually gorgeous. So that's just something to think about. You know, pick and choose. You don't have to get every single one. If you are a completionist, I can understand you wishing she was a little bit better, but I love her for what she is, and I'm so happy to have her. And I hope you guys can get her too if you haven't been able to get her. And so yeah, with that, I'm gonna say thank you for watching, because I'm just rambling now. Thank you for watching. I hope you have the best day, and hope to see you again in the next video. Bye.